using Ajax with JavaServer Faces technology. Early web applications were created mostly as static web pages. When a static web page is updated by a client, the entire page has to reload to reflect the update. In effect, every update needs a page reload to reflect the change. Repetitive reloads can result in excessive network access and can impact application performance. Technologies such as Ajax were created to overcome these deficiencies. Ajax is an acronym for Asynchronous JavaScript and XML, a group of web technologies that enables creation of dynamic and highly responsive web applications. Using Ajax, web applications can retrieve content from the server without interfering with the display on the client. JavaServer Faces 2. X provides built-in support for Ajax. This chapter describes using Ajax functionality in JavaServer Faces-based web applications. The following topics are addressed here. Overview: using Ajax functionality with JavaServer Faces technology. Using Ajax with facelet sending an Ajax request, monitoring events on the client, handling errors, receiving an Ajax response, Ajax request lifecycle, grouping of components, loading JavaScript as a resource. The ajaxguessnumber example application. Further information about Ajax and JavaServer Faces. Overview: Ajax refers to JavaScript and XML technologies that are widely used for creating dynamic and asynchronous web content. While Ajax is not limited to JavaScript and XML technologies, more often than not they are used together by web applications. The focus of this tutorial is on JavaScript-based Ajax functionality for JavaServer Faces web applications. About Ajax: JavaScript is a dynamic scripting language for web applications. It is an object-oriented language that allows users to add enhanced functionality to user interfaces and allows web pages to interact with clients asynchronously. JavaScript mainly runs on the client side, such as a browser, and thereby reduces server access by clients. When a JavaScript function sends an asynchronous request from the client to the server sends back a response which is used to update the page's document object model DOM. This response is often in the format of an XML document. The term Ajax refers to this interaction between the client and server. The server response need not be in XML only but can also be in other formats such as JSON. This tutorial does not focus on the response formats. Ajax enables asynchronous and partial updating of web applications. Such functionality allows for highly responsive web pages that are rendered in near real time. Ajax-based web applications can access server and process information as well as retrieve data without interfering with the display and rendering of the current web page on a client such as a browser. Some of the advantages of using Ajax are as follows. Form data validation in real time, eliminating the need to submit the form for verification. Enhanced functionality for web pages, such as username and password prompts. Partial update of the web content, avoiding complete page reloads using Ajax functionality with JavaServer Faces technology. Ajax functionality can be added to a JavaServer Faces application in one of the following ways: adding the required JavaScript code to an application using the built-in Ajax resource library in JavaServer Faces 2. X prior to JavaServer Faces 2. X. JavaServer Faces applications provided Ajax functionality by adding the necessary JavaScript to the web page. From JavaServer Faces 2. X. Standard Ajax support is provided by a built-in JavaScript resource library. With the support of this JavaScript resource library, JavaServer Faces standard UI components, such as buttons, labels, or text fields, can be enabled for Ajax functionality. You can also load this resource library and use its methods directly from within the NetBeans code. The next sections of the tutorial describe the use of the built-in Ajax resource library in more detail. In addition, because the JavaServer Faces technology component model can be extended, custom components can be created with Ajax functionality. An Ajax version of the guessnumber application, ajaxguessnumber, is available in the example repository. See the ajaxguessnumber example application for more information. The Ajax-specific Ajax tag and its attributes are explained in the next sections, using Ajax with facelets. As mentioned in the previous section, JavaServer Faces technology supports Ajax by using a built-in JavaScript resource library that is provided as part of the JavaServer Faces core libraries. This built-in Ajax resource can be used in JavaServer Faces web applications in one of the following ways, by using the Ajax tag along with another standard component in a facelets application. This method adds Ajax functionality to any UI component without additional coding and configuration. By using the JavaScript API method JSF Ajax request directly within the facelets application, this method provides direct access to Ajax methods and allows customized control of component behavior. Using the Ajax tag. The Ajax tag is a JavaServer Faces core tag that provides Ajax functionality to any regular UI component when used in conjunction with that component. In the following example, Ajax behavior is added to an input component by including the Ajax core tag, input text value equal bean, message, Ajax event equal click, input text. In this example, although Ajax is enabled, the other attributes of the Ajax tag are not defined. Table 12-1 lists the attributes of the Ajax tag. Table 12-1 attributes of the Ajax tag name type description disabled JavaX. Value expression that evaluates to a boolean value that identifies the tag status. A value of true indicates that the Ajax behavior should not be rendered. A value of false indicates that the Ajax behavior should be rendered. The default value is false. Event JavaX. Value expression that evaluates to a string that identifies the type of event to which the Ajax action will apply. If specified, it must be one of the events supported by the component. If not specified, the default event, the event that triggers the Ajax request, is determined for the component. The default event is action for action source components and value change for editable value holder components. Execute JavaX. Value expression that evaluates to an object a collection that identifies a list of components to be executed on the server. If a literal is specified, it must be a space-delimited string of component identifiers and or one of the keywords. If a value expression is specified, it must refer to a property that returns a collection of string objects. If not specified, the default value is this. Immediate JavaX. Value expression that evaluates to a boolean value that indicates whether inputs are to be processed early in the life cycle. If true, behavior events generated from this behavior are broadcast during the apply request values phase. Otherwise, the events will be broadcast during the invoke applications phase. Listener JavaX. Method expression, the name of the listener method that is called when an Ajax behavior event has been broadcast for the listener. Event JavaX. Value expression that evaluates to a string the name of the JavaScript function that handles UI events. Error JavaX. Value expression that evaluates to a string the name of the JavaScript function that handles errors. Render JavaX. Value expression that evaluates to an object a collection that identifies a list of components to be rendered on the client. If a literal is specified, it must be a space-delimited string of component identifiers and or one of the keywords. If a value expression is specified, it must refer to a property that returns a collection of string objects. If not specified, the default value is none. The keywords listed in Table 12-2 can be used with the execute and render attributes of the Ajax tag. Table 12-2 execute and render keywords. Keyword description. All component identifiers form the form that encloses the component. None, no component identifiers. This the element that triggered the request. Note that when you use the Ajax tag in a facelets page, the JavaScript resource library is loaded implicitly. This resource library can also be loaded explicitly as described in loading JavaScript as a resource. Sending an Ajax request. To activate Ajax functionality, the web application must create an Ajax request and send it to the server. The server then processes the request. The application uses the attributes of the Ajax tag listed in Table 12-1 to create the Ajax request. The following sections explain the process of creating and sending an Ajax request using each of these attributes. Note, behind the scenes, the JSF Ajax request method of the JavaScript resource library collects the data provided by the Ajax tag and posts the request to the JavaServer Faces lifecycle. Using the event attribute. The event attribute defines the event that triggers the Ajax action. Some of the possible values for this attribute are click, kite, mouse over, focus, and blur. If not specified, a default event based on the parent component will be applied. The default event is action for action source components such as a command button, and value change for editable value holder components such as input text. In the following example, an Ajax tag is associated with the button component, and the event that triggers the Ajax action is a mouse click. Command button it equals submit value equals submit. Ajax event equal click. Command button output text it equal result value equal user number bean. Response. Note, you may have noticed that the listed events are very similar to JavaScript events. In fact, they are based on JavaScript events, but do not have the on prefix. For a command button, the default event is click, so that you do not actually need to specify event equal click to obtain the desired behavior. Using the execute attribute. The execute attribute defines the component or components to be executed on the server. The component is identified by its attribute. You can specify more than one executable component. If more than one component is to be executed, specify a space-delimited list of components. The execute attribute can also be a keyword, such as all, none, this, or form. The default value is this, which refers to the component within which the Ajax tag is nested. The following code specifies that the input text component with the id value of user node should be executed when the button is clicked. Input text id equal user no value equal user number bean. User number. Input text. Command button id equal submit value equal submit. Ajax event equal click execute equal user no. Command button. Using the immediate attribute. The immediate attribute indicates whether user inputs are to be processed early in the application lifecycle or later. If the attribute is set to true, events generated from this component are broadcast during the apply request values phase. Otherwise, the events will be broadcast during the invoke applications phase. If not defined, the default value of this attribute is false. Using the listener attribute. The listener attribute refers to a method expression that is executed on the server side in response to an Ajax action on the client. The listener's process Ajax behavior method is called once during the invoke application phase of the lifecycle. In the following example, a listener attribute is defined by an Ajax tag, which refers to a method from the bean. Ajax listener equal myBean. SomiAction render equal Som component. The following code represents the SomiAction method in myBean. Public void SomiAction Ajax behavior event does something. Monitoring events on the client. The ongoing Ajax requests can be monitored by using the onEvent attribute of the Ajax tag. The value of this attribute is the name of a JavaScript function. JavaServer Faces calls the onEvent function at each stage of the processing of an Ajax request. Begin, complete and success. When calling the JavaScript function assigned to the onEvent property, JavaServer Faces passes a data object to it. The data object contains the properties listed in Table 12-3. Table 12-3 properties of the onEvent data object property description response XML the response to the Ajax call in XML format response text the response to the Ajax call in text format response code the response to the Ajax call in numeric code source the source of the current Ajax event. The DOM element status the status of the current Ajax call. Begin, success, or complete type the type of the Ajax call. Event. By using the status property of the data object, you can identify the current status of the Ajax request and monitor its progress. In the following example, monitorAjax event is a JavaScript function that monitors the Ajax request sent by the event. F. Ajax event equal click render equal error message on event equal monitorAjax event. Handling errors. JavaServer Faces handles Ajax errors through use of the onError attribute of the F. Ajax tag. The value of this attribute is the name of a JavaScript function. When there is an error in processing an Ajax request, JavaServer Faces calls the defined onError JavaScript function and passes a data object to it. The data object contains all the properties available for the onEvent attribute, and in addition, the following properties: description error name error message the type is error. The status property of the data object contains one of the valid error values listed in Table 12-4. Table 12-4 valid error values for the data object status property values description empty response no Ajax response from server. HTTP error one of the valid HTTP errors. Request. Status null or request. Status undefined or request. Status 200 or request. Status equal 300 malformed XML the Ajax response is not well formed. Server error the Ajax response contains an error element. In the following example, any errors that occurred in processing the Ajax request are handled by the handling_Ajax JavaScript function. F. Ajax event equal click render equal test onError equal handling_Ajax. Receiving an Ajax response. After the application sends an Ajax request, it is processed on the server side, and a response is sent back to the client. As described earlier, Ajax allows for partial updating of web pages. To enable such partial updating, JavaServer Faces technology allows for partial processing of the view. The handling of the response is defined by the render attribute of the F. Ajax tag. Similar to the execute attribute, the render attribute defines which sections of the page will be updated. The value of a render attribute can be one or more component values, one of the keywords. This, all, none, and, form, or an EL expression. In the following example, the render attribute simply identifies an output component to be displayed when the Ajax action has successfully completed. H. Command button it equals submit value equals submit. F. Ajax execute equal user no render equal result. H. Command button H. Output text it equal result value equal user number bean. Response. However, more often than not, the render attribute is likely to be associated with an event attribute. In the following example, an output component is displayed when the button component is clicked. H. Command button it equals submit value equals submit. F. Ajax event equal click execute equal user no render equal result. H. Command button H. Output text it equal result value equal user number bean. Response. Note, behind the scenes, once again the JSF. Ajax. Request method handles the response. It registers a response handling callback when the original request is created. When the response is sent back to the client, the callback is invoked. This callback automatically updates the client-side DOM to reflect the rendered response. Ajax request lifecycle. An Ajax request varies from other typical JavaServer Faces requests, and its processing is also handled differently by the JavaServer Faces lifecycle. As described in partial processing and partial rendering, when an Ajax request is received, the state associated with that request is captured by the partial view context. This object provides access to information such as which components are targeted for processing. Rendering. The process partial method of partial view context uses this information to perform partial component tree processing. Rendering. The execute attribute of the Ajax tag identifies which segments of the server-side component tree should be processed. Because components can be uniquely identified in the JavaServer Faces component tree, it is easy to identify and process a single component, a few components, or a whole tree. This is made possible by the visitTree method of the IComponent class. The identified components then run through the JavaServer Faces request lifecycle phases. Similar to the execute attribute, the render attribute identifies which segments of the JavaServer Faces component tree need to be rendered during the render response phase. During the render response phase, the render attribute is examined. The identified components are found and asked to render themselves and their children. The components are then packaged up and sent back to the client as a response. Grouping of components. The previous sections describe how to associate a single UI component with Ajax functionality. You can also associate Ajax with more than one component at a time by grouping them together on a page. The following example shows how a number of components can be grouped by using the Ajax tag. Ajax, H. Form, H. Input text it equal input 1. H. Command button it equals admit. H. Form, F. Ajax. In the example, neither component is associated with any Ajax event or render attributes yet. Therefore, no action will take place in case of user input. You can associate the above components with an event and a render attribute as follows. Ajax event equal click render equal all H. Form H. Input text it equal input 1 value equal user name H. Command button it equals admit H. Form F. Ajax. In the updated example, when the user clicks either component, the updated results will be displayed for all components. You can further fine-tune the Ajax action by adding specific events to each of the components, in which case Ajax functionality becomes cumulative. Consider the following example. Ajax event equal click render equal all H. Command button it equals admit F. Ajax event equal mouse over H. Command button F. Ajax. Now the button component will fire an Ajax action in case of a mouse over event as well as a mouse click event. Loading JavaScript as a resource. The JavaScript resource file bundled with JavaServer Faces 2. X is named JSF. JS and is available in the JavaX Faces library. This resource library supports Ajax functionality in JavaServer Faces applications. In order to use this resource directly with the component or a bean class, you need to explicitly load the resource library. The resource can be loaded in one of the following ways: by using the resource API directly in a Facelets page by using the JavaX Faces application. Resource dependency annotation in the resource API in the bean class using JavaScript API in a Facelets application. To use the bundled JavaScript resource API directly in a web application, such as a Facelets page, you need to first identify the default JavaScript resource for the page with the help of the output script tag. For example, consider the following section of a Facelets page. Form H. Output script name equal JSF. JS library equal JavaX. Faces target equal head. Form. Specifying the target as head causes the script resource to be rendered within the head element on the HTML page. In the next step, identify the component to which you would like to attach the Ajax functionality. Add the Ajax functionality to the component by using the JavaScript API. For example, consider the following. H. Form. H. Output script name equal JSF. JS library equal Ajax. Faces target equal head. H. Input text int equal input name value equal user bean. Name. H. Output text int equal output name value equal user bean. Name. H. Command button int equal submit value equal submit on click equal JSF. Ajax. Request this event execute. Input name render. Output name return false. H. Form. The JSF. Ajax. Request method takes up to 3 parameters that specify source, event, and options. The source parameter identifies the DOM element that triggered the Ajax request, typically this. The optional event parameter identifies the DOM event that triggered this request. The optional options parameter contains a set of name value pairs from table 12-5. Table 12-5 possible values for the options parameter name value execute a space-delimited list of client identifiers or one of the keywords listed in table 12-2. The identifiers reference the components that will be processed during the execute phase of the lifecycle. Render a space-delimited list of client identifiers or one of the keywords listed in table 12-2. The identifiers reference the components that will be processed during the render phase of the lifecycle. Own event a string that is the name of the JavaScript function to call when an event occurs. Own error a string that is the name of the JavaScript function to call when an error occurs. Params an object that may include additional parameters to include in the request. If no identifier is specified, the default assumed keyword for the execute attribute is this, and for the render attribute it is none. You can also place the JavaScript method in a file and include it as a resource. Using the resource dependency annotation in a bean class, use the JavaServer Faces application resource dependency annotation to cause the bean class to load the default JS library. To load the Ajax resource from the server side, use the JSF Ajax request method within the bean class. This method is usually used when creating a custom component or a custom renderer for a component. The following example shows how the resource is loaded in a bean class. Resource dependency name equal JSF. JS library equal Ajax. Faces target equal head. The ajaxguessnumber example application. To demonstrate the advantages of using Ajax, revisit the guess number example from Chapter 5, Introduction to Facelets. If you modify this example to use Ajax, the response need not be displayed in the response XHTML page. Instead, an asynchronous call is made to the bean on the server side, and the response is displayed in the originating page by executing just the input component rather than by form submission. The ajaxguessnumber source files. The changes to the guessnumber application occur in 2 source files, as well as the addition of a JavaScript file. The Ajax greeting. XHTML facelets page. The facelets page for ajaxguessnumber, Ajax greeting. XHTML is almost the same as the greeting. XHTML page for the guessnumber application. H. Head, title, ajaxguessnumber facelets application. Title, H. Head, H. Body, H. Form it equal Ajax guess, H. Output script name equal UI. JS target equal head. H. Graphic image value equal resource images. Wave. Med. GIF. H2. Hi, my name is Duke. I'm thinking of a number from user number bean. Minimum to user number bean. Maximum. Can you guess it? P. H. Input text int equal user no value equal user number bean. User number. F. Validate long range minimum equal user number bean. Minimum maximum equal user number bean. Maximum. H. Input text, H. Command button 8 equals submit value equals submit. F. Ajax execute equal user no render equal result errors 1. F. Ajax execute equal user no render equal result errors 107 equal MSG. H. Command button, P. H. Output text it equal result value equal user number bean. Response. P. H. Message it equal errors 1 show summary equal true show detail equal false style equal color. Red, font family. New Century Schoolbook, serif, font style. Oblique, text decoration. Overline for equal user no. H2, H. Form. H. Body, the most important change is in the H. Command button tag. The action attribute is removed from a tag, and F. Ajax tag is added. The F. Ajax tag specifies that when the button is clicked, the H. Input text component with the id value user no is executed. The components with the id values result and errors 1 are then rendered. If that was all you did as in the commented out version of the tag, you would see the output from both the result and errors 1 components, although only one output is valid. If a validation error occurs, the managed bean is not executed, so the result output is stale. To solve this problem, the tag also calls the JavaScript function named MSG in the file UI.js, as described in the next section. The H. Output script tag at the top of the form calls in the script the UI.js JavaScript file. The UI.js file specified in the H. Output script tag of the Ajax greeting. XHTML file is located in the web resources directory of the application. The file contains just one function, MSG. var MSG equal function MSG data var result area equal document. Get element by it Ajax guess. Result. var error area equal document. Get element by it Ajax guess. Errors 1. If error area. Inner HTML. Null error area. Inner HTML. Result area. Inner HTML equal. The MSG function obtains the handle to both the result and errors 1 elements. If the errors 1 element has any content, the function erases the content of the result element, so that the stale output does not appear in the page. The user number bean managed bean. A small change is also made in the user number bean code, so that the output component does not display any message for the default null value of the property response. Here is the modified bean code. Public string get response if user number equal null user number. Compare to random int 0 return yay, you got it. If user number null return null. Else return sorry, plus user number plus is incorrect. Building, packaging, deploying, and running the ajaxguessnumber example. You can build, package, deploy, and run the ajaxguessnumber application by using either NetBeans IDE or the Ant tool. To build, package, and deploy the ajaxguessnumber example using NetBeans IDE. This procedure builds the application into the following directory: tut install. Examples. Web. ajaxguessnumber. Build. When the contents of this directory are deployed to the Glassfish server, from the File menu, choose Open Project. In the Open Project dialog, navigate to tut install. Examples. Web. Select the ajaxguessnumber folder. Select the Open as Main Project checkbox. Click Open Project. In the Projects tab, right-click the ajaxguessnumber project and select Deploy. To build, package, and deploy the ajaxguessnumber example using it. In a terminal window, go to tut install. Examples. Web. ajaxguessnumber. Type the following command, and this command calls the default target, which builds and packages the application into a WAR file, ajaxguessnumber. War, located in the dist directory. Type the following command, and deploy. Typing this command deploys ajaxguessnumber to the Glassfish server. To run the ajaxguessnumber example in a web browser, type the following URL, http localhost 8080 ajaxguessnumber. Type a value in the input field and click submit. If the value is in the range 0 to 10, a message states whether the guess is correct or incorrect. If the value is outside that range, or if the value is not a number, an error message appears in red. To see what would happen if the JavaScript function were not included, remove the comment marks from the first F Ajax tag in Ajax greeting XHTML and place them around the second tag, as follows. F Ajax execute equal user no render equal result errors 1. F Ajax execute equal user no render equal result errors 107 equal MSG. If you then redeploy the application, you can see that stale output from valid guesses continues to appear if you type erroneous input. Further information about Ajax and JavaServer Faces. For more information on JavaServer Faces technology, see JavaServer Faces 2.0 technology download website, http oracle.com Tech Network Java Java.ie Download 139288 HTML JavaServer Faces JavaScript library APIs are available in the Majera 2.x package in the following location. Majera 2.0 to FCS Docs JSDOCS Symbols JSF Ajax HTML